Coming up, the Dodgers did it again. That's 2 in a row. We'll give you a front seat view from right here at USC in Los Angeles. USC football got a huge road win against Nebraska. We'll recap that game and look ahead to this weekend. Basketball season is back. Both the men's and the women's teams are off to hot starts. All that and more coming up next on Sports Scene.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. Welcome to a special championship edition of Sports Scene. I'm Adam Ukazoglu.
And I'm Mia Satterfield-Brown. We're going to get to the 19th ranked Trojans, but first to talk about the big news in LA.
Yes, we do. For the second straight season, the Los Angeles Dodgers are World Series champions.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Kirk bounces one up the middle, bends to the bag, over to first to beat the champ. You gotta knock him out. The Dodgers stand tall and win back-to-back titles.
Pure elation and arguably the greatest World Series ever. It felt like neither team deserved to lose, but the Game 7 heroics of LA reigned supreme. Let's hear some fan reactions.
Oh, I'm so excited. I saw the last 2 games. Oh my goodness, I said yes, 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 yes. They're winning. I'm so excited.
I was on the edge of my seat from start to finish. That 9th inning was probably one of the most craziest ninth innings you'll ever see in a baseball game.
I mean, just look at the city of LA. It feels like the Dodgers are the glue that are bringing it together. Dave Roberts and his squad paraded through the heart of the city, giving joy and happiness to a fan base that has been so loyal all season. Soon after, the team arrived at Dodger Stadium where Yoshi, Kike, and Kershaw gave all-time speeches. Nia, that was an unbelievable World Series and epic. What was your experience watching it?
I was watching it from LA Live. It was so much fun, so energetic, so just nice to see how loyal and just passionate this fan base is. It was honestly a party in downtown LA.
I mean, it was unreal, but you just have to feel for Toronto. Nolan now here with us. Nolan, do you think the Dodgers won it, or do you think Toronto beat themselves?
I think the Dodgers won. I mean, yes, Toronto had a lead that kind of blew it, but when you have a pitcher, the Dodgers have Yamamoto, who just pitched the day prior, pitched through 6 innings, and all of a sudden he can come in, pitch almost 3 innings the very next day, give up only 1 hit during that span. When you're the Dodgers and you've been known for your offense all year and you kind of can take care of pitching finally, Yamamoto looks awesome. I mean, there's no one that's going to be able to.
I mean, look at some of these plays. You got Andy Pages with one of the plays of the year after just being substituted on. Will Smith with an all-time home run, and Miguel Rojas out of everyone, he's the hero in the 9th inning. Game 7 was an epic, and all of us Dodger fans are forever in debt to this franchise.
The Dodgers are building a legacy in Los Angeles after winning back-to-back championships. The team is already talking about their next one.
I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday on the plane, and he gave me the okay to use this phrase. Pat Riley, what's better than 2? 3! 3P! 3P! Let's go!
Is this the beginning of a dynasty, and will they make it a 3P? What do you think?
I mean, it already is a dynasty. The Dodgers have won 3 World Series in the past 6 years. They've won back-to-back. They're going to win another. I mean, who can stop this team? There's already rumors that they're out there in free agency looking for closers, looking to shore up that bullpen because, the bullpen was shaky. We ranted about it, especially myself earlier on in Sports Scene. But the starting pitchers took off the slack, and they performed absolutely unbelievably.
I can agree more. It's super impressive how this team has racked up 3 trips in 5 years. If they can continue this, the league might be doomed.
USC football got its 2nd road win of the year with a 21-17 victory against Nebraska. That pins USC at number 19 in the college football playoff poll. Up at the top, though, it's a battle of 2 conferences. Ohio State and Indiana rep the Big Ten at number 1 and 2, while Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia are the SEC teams rounding out the top 5. The Trojans are a 2-loss team, meaning if they win out, there's a likely chance they'll find themselves in the college football playoff. First, though, they have to take care of Northwestern. Here are our keys to the game. I think USC has to build chemistry among its DBs. Nia needs to see a stout defense. Adam says the Trojans have to get off to a fast start. 3 separate keys, all for the same goal. Adam, I'm going to start with you. Why is your key so important?
Yeah, well, when you look at last week, the Trojans almost blew it to Nebraska, and it was the result of them not getting out of the gates fast. Now, you look at the Trojans, they've been solid on offense this year. They've been arguably the #1 offense in the country, but they looked completely lost last week until Raiola went out. It kind of gave them a momentum boost. They have to get out, and they have to get out fast.
And Nia, you said you want to see a stout defense. Why don't you explain why that's a key for you?
Well, Nolan, the defense won the game last weekend at Nebraska. They were super incredible. They were limiting the explosive plays, and they were having a really great run defense. So they can continue that going into harder competition, and they can honestly win out the rest of the season.
I'll be honest, I'm not concerned one bit about Northwestern. I think if you even keep that game close, there's not a chance you're winning out, meaning there's not a chance the Trojans could even come close to that college football playoff. So for me, I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at Iowa and especially Oregon. I think USC needs to build its DBs together. It looked a little better last week. If you can continue that chemistry, maybe you stand a chance against Dante Moore. So for me, the DBs have to have that chemistry. The kickoff is at 6 p.m. on Friday. USC hopes to handily take care of business because the competition, like I said, it only gets tougher with Oregon, Iowa, and UCLA.
It's time to meet these Wildcats and see how deep they're coming into the Coliseum Friday night. I'm going with quarterback Preston Stone. Through 8 games, he's thrown for over 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. Take a look at him here 2 weeks ago versus Purdue. He led his team to a shutout of the Boilermakers. He knows how to get his team going, and his deep arm is something to watch out for on Friday.
I'm going with the Wildcats' highest offensive producer, their tailback Caleb Komolafe. With 600 yards and 7 touchdowns through 8 games, he's the guy the Trojans would lose to. He can always rip one home like he did right here. They love giving him the ball, so watch out for this guy.
Yeah, well, my player to watch this Friday is Griffin Wild. The junior wideout has been unbelievable this season, going on a 4-game touchdown streak that didn't end until this past week. His skill set is the deep ball with a catch of 25-plus yards in 4 of his last 5 games, including a big-time touchdown, as you can see right here, en route to a huge Wildcat victory at Penn State. I mean, Nolan, I know you said otherwise, but Northwestern is not a team, in my opinion, that USC can afford to overlook, and they're going to have to contain all 3 of these players and much more. If USC is going to win, the offensive line will have to step up. To give us more on that, we'll toss it to Liam Irvin for X's and O's.
How about a gritty Big Ten football win on the road for the Trojans? That's exactly what you saw this Saturday in Lincoln, Nebraska. X's and O's is back and better than ever. I'm Liam Irvin. A notable coaching hire this offseason was offensive line coach Zach Hansen, and the front 5 has performed exceptionally for the Cardinal in gold this season. Let's break things down. What this offensive line likes to do a lot is pull both their right guard and right tackle. And how about Miller coming in, the walk-on, helping out his brother block? He's going to pull. His responsibility is to set this edge. This defensive end cannot get inside his block. And then he got Justin Tuanua with a full set of him ahead. He's meeting these linebackers downfield and giving a big gap for Miller to get into the secondary. These key plays, these pieced together plays, look at Miller right here, all the way to the first down mark without being touched. Great blocking. That's Coach Hansen's execution. And then it opens up some trickery, some other plays in the run game. You're going to see the same setup to this play right here. Miller's going to pull, Tuanua's going to pull as well. And right here, count how many black jerseys are in this box right here. There's 7 of them, all committing to this run to the left side. Everyone's banking on King, number 30, getting this football. And what does Jaden Mayava do? He sees this right side wide open. Receiver's going downfield. He pulls the ball out himself, and he himself has a 14-yard game for a first down. Was it an ugly win? Sure, but those small pickups, moving the chains, contributing to the 202 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in the run game this weekend. That's all for X's and O's, but coming up, the coaching carousel continues in college football. Casey, Terrence, and I highlight our favorite open jobs in both women's and men's basketball game.
And both women's and men's basketball won their season openers at Galen Center. All that and more coming up next.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. It's the first week of November, and that means college hoops is back in full swing. Let's hear from Mia Nunez, who is live from Galen Center, to tell us more. Mia?
The Must Bus is officially rolling after men's basketball got their first win of the season against Cal Poly. The Trojans won by 30 points, but that dominance is not how the game started. To start, their shots weren't falling. But eventually, Jacob Kofi got hot and led the team in points and rebounds with 23 and 10. Kofi is one of the new 9 players this year. Coach Musselman talked about his impact against Cal Poly.
Just his activity. He rim rolled with force. I really loved the interior passing of our bigs, But I thought Jacob played, he wanted to play more minutes than he had seen in those 2 exhibition games. So I think he was focused and really wanted to, prove, hey, I want more minutes.
Men's hoops continues their home stretch on Sunday against Manhattan. Last night, women's basketball won a dominant 39-point win against New Mexico State at home. In number 1, freshman Jazzy Davidson's anticipated first collegiate game, she led the team with 14 points. But the real story was the bench, which had a combined 41 points. Due to star Juju Watkins being sidelined for the season, Coach Gottlieb had said that the depth would be a key.
Like I said, this may be a team where, the starters change up or who's finishing, and I think we need a collective effort. That's just how we're going to play. We rely on a lot of different people for different things, but that didn't surprise me one bit.
Without Juju, wins will need to be a team effort, and that was on full display last night. An unsuspected hero of the night was UCLA transfer Londynn Jones, who made her presence felt with 16 points and 3 assists, along with her defensive prowess. USC Hoops will need to get it together and continue this stretch as they take on their first-ranked opponent, NC State, who's ranked number 9th. Reporter Casey Kasliner sat down with Londynn Jones to talk about season expectations.
This week on Sports Scene, we're joined alongside USC women's basketball point guard Londynn Jones. Londynn, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you committed to USC back in April from crosstown rival UCLA. What's been your experience here at Galen Center over the offseason?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, it's obviously a lot different, but I think just being uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, something new. This is my last year, so really just wanting to be the best version of myself, but it's been great so far.
What was the process like transferring from UCLA to USC?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously hard leaving a place that we've been there for 3 years, but I just thought it was the best thing for me, and like I said, just trying to be the best version of myself. Me and Coach Lindsay kind of has history, so just to be under her leadership, it's been amazing.
You mentioned Coach Lindsay. You also played under Corey Close, 2 legendary coaches in women's basketball. What was it like to learn under both of them now?
Yeah, I mean, they're different, definitely. I think, just being under Coach Lindsay, I mean, I've always wanted to play for Coach Lindsay, so I think, I kind of said, we had history. I was going to go to Cal when she was at Cal, but she left, and so just happened to be up the street, and, God works in mysterious ways, and so here we are.
Yeah, you mentioned it's your last season playing in women's college basketball. What are your goals for your senior year?
I'm excited, honestly. Just being able to play free and just go out there and just do what I do at my best, and just setting me up for the next level, whatever that may look like. But just really excited and ready to get after it.
While at UCLA, you played against Juju Watkins. Of course, she's going to sit out this year, but what was it like to play against someone like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always played against Juju. We kind of grew up always playing against each other when she went to Winter and I went to Centennial. So it's always been fun. Juju's a great player. Obviously, we're sad that she's, won't be with us, but just having her around means a lot as well.
You and Georgia Tech transfer guard Kara Dunn are the 2 transfers in the backcourt. What's it like to get to know her over the offseason?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Kara's my dog. Just building relationships on and off the court. We do a lot of fun stuff together, and just being the vets of the team, and understanding that, and just we have the same goal. So I'm really excited.
A lot of people have been talking about 5-star freshman Jazzy Davidson in the offseason leading up to the year. What's impressed you about her, just seeing her play?
Yeah, I just think how poised she is. I think that's really hard. I think as a freshman, you're coming into a new system, a new environment. It can be difficult, it can be hard, but I think she's been doing a really good job.
Yeah, well, the men's basketball squad is essentially brand new. Let's break it down by the top 3 newcomers. First, let's look at Rodney Rice. The transfer from Maryland is an absolute sharpshooter and will help space the court for the Trojans. You're going to see from these plays right here, he can do it all, but his most valuable asset is being a walking three-point bucket. You can't leave him open or else it's 3 points for the Trojans. He shot over 37% from three last year and made 4 of his 10 deep attempts in USC's opener against Cal Poly. I mean, just look at that. This is one of the guys where if the game is on the line and you need someone to bail you out, you go to him. Next, though, I'm going to go to Chad Baker-Mazara, the transfer from Auburn. He's one of the most athletic guards I've ever seen play the game of basketball. Watch this right here as he drives to the rim, glides through the air, and then weaves through defenders. He's an extremely strong finisher and knows how to draw contact like he does here. He's got a nose for those and ones that get a crowd going. But he's a guard, so obviously he can take care of deep range too. He may not be as fluid, but he shot 38% from three-point range last year. Oh yeah, and he can do this too. That certainly can't hurt. And speaking of eye-catching dunks, let's go to Jacob Kofi, who transferred from Virginia. He's a walking highlight reel from under the hoop. If you see him running your way, I'd suggest you move out of there, unless you want to end up on a poster under that guy. He can also be a defensive threat, though. Look as he uses his big frame to force a steal, and now let's watch him in transition as he sprints downward, shows his hustle, and it wouldn't be a Jacob Kofi highlight if it didn't end with a putback dunk. USC is filled with talent. It can be a blessing or a curse. It's up to these players as individuals to come together as a team, build chemistry, and put some check marks in the win column. And speaking of that win column, it got some love last week, which will make this section even tougher than ever. Of course, I'm talking about Trojan top plays. Let's go to football first. USC needs a touchdown here to take the lead. King Miller does just that. Great bounce to the outside. The score changed the momentum for the Trojans. Next, though, Nebraska approaching the red zone already with a nice lead here. USC has to stop them. What better way than to force a strip sack? Talk about a game-saving, momentum-shifting play. Going to basketball, though, where Chad Baker-Mazara was in trouble, but finds Rodney Rice on the perimeter, who drives and throws a lob to Kofi, who jams it in. It's those 3 newcomers already building momentum. Several top plays for Trojan athletes last week, but who's the Trojan of the week?
Yeah, well, Nolan, time for Annenberg TV's favorite debate segment, time for Trojan of the Week. Welcome to the pit, joined by my quarrelsome co-host, Casey Kausner, and there is a gap between us to keep us apart from each other. And unlike him, my Trojan of the Week actually picked up a meaningful win. Of course, I'm referring to King Miller. Miller was one of the lone bright spots for USC football against Nebraska with 129 rushing yards, as well as the game-winning touchdown, as Nolan just mentioned, in a must-win for the Trojans.
6 years ago, Jacob Kofi was learning the game of basketball at his local YMCA in Seattle. On Monday night, he took a new stage, the Galen Center Hardwood, and had his first taste of a 20-point game in college. Has USC found its hidden gem from the Emerald City? Well, the Virginia transfer notched a 23-point double-double with 10 rebounds, plus 3 blocks, and he was efficient, shooting 9 for 12, leading USC in points and boards en route to a 30-point blowout win over Cal Poly.
Yeah, well, Casey, I'm going to go first on this one. And I do think Jacob Kofi had a good game. Don't get me wrong.
We'll stop you right there then.
No. You have to think about the circumstances of the game. It is the first game of the year for USC men's basketball.
It's big to set the tone.
No. This was a must-win for USC football.
Must win over an unranked team?
100. Their season's over if they don't win this game. 100%. They're playing in front of a raucous Nebraska crowd, a crowd which Lincoln Riley said gave them at least 7 to 10 points.
You're talking about the
team. Plus,
where's
a study found recently said that Nebraska has sold the most alcohol throughout the entire country at football games. That gives them another 7 to 10 points. They're making them even more aggressive and raucous.
You're filibustering quite a bit. I haven't heard your Trojan at all.
Why your game doesn't matter.
I haven't heard your Trojan's name once. Let's talk about Jacob Kofi. He led the team in points, had a career-high 23 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. He did it everywhere. And you say this game doesn't matter. It's opening night. You need to set the tone.
First game of the year against Cal Poly.
You need to set the tone on home court.
You're playing a nobody versus you're going to Lincoln, Nebraska, one of the most revered stadiums in the entire country, in a blackout nonetheless. An incredibly intimidating circumstance.
Okay.
King Miller stepped up to the chance. He was really the only USC offense player who played well.
Okay. Well,
who else on USC offense played well for football?
Plenty of other people. Jaden Mayava's the quarterback. He drove the team. I mean, look. I think King Miller played a good game. I'll compliment the pick. But
6-yard touchdown doesn't move the needle for me.
6-yard game-winning touchdown. How many game winners did Jacob Kofi hit?
Didn't need a game winner because he was in cohesion the
If
entire game.
you had taken out his points, they still would have won that game. If he hadn't existed, he still would have won that game. If King Miller wasn't there, USC doesn't
it's
move
apples and oranges.
USC doesn't move the ball, and he doesn't score the game-winning touchdown.
It's all about context.
You're not even
though.
talking about the 2-point conversion. The 2-point conversion to tie the game.
Great play call.
Great
play call by Lincoln Riley.
A wildcat play. It was fantastic run to the outside.
Let's remember something here. Let's remember something here. Let me speak real quick, please. USC football is ranked. They played an unranked team. So they should have beat them.
It was a must-win game.
They're ranked playing an unranked team. Basketball
Are you saying
is
that
unranked.
USC men's basketball is on the same level as Cal Poly Slow?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
That sounds like what you're saying.
What I'm saying is USC football is ranked, and they played an unranked
and
team.
you know, if we're just comparing, as you said, apples to oranges, USC football is favored by 6.5. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, USC men's basketball favored by 24.5.
Well, what does that matter? I'm talking about Kofi's individual performance. It's not team of the week. It's Trojan of the week. I think you often forget that.
And King Miller stepped up to the moment.
And so did Jacob Kofi.
But they didn't need it, okay?
Well, that's great. So you guys can let us know who you think won Trojan of the week this week, but we'll be back next week to talk about more Trojan standouts. But before we do, the college coaching landscape has seen unprecedented changes. Liam has more.
Exactly right, Casey. The college football coaching carousel has continued as Auburn's head coach Hugh Freeze was terminated this past weekend, becoming the 11th FBS coach this season to be fired by early November. UCLA's Deshaun Foster was one of the first to go on September 14th, followed by shortly after James Franklin being let go on October 12th. 1 week later, Billy Napier at Florida gone. Then LSU and Brian Kelly parted ways on October 26th, followed by this weekend, Hugh Freeze at Auburn dismissed. Joined now by Casey Kasliner and Terrence Holton. I think they've had the chance to cool down a bit.
Just a little bit.
Gents, this is something we've never seen before in college football. Terrence, I'll start with you. Why do you think this is happening so early relative to the past seasons?
Yeah, well, it's a lot of built-up mediocrity, with a lot of these programs. You look at Auburn, you look at Penn State, you look at LSU, you look at Florida. Penn State is a little bit of an exception because they did consistently win 10 games. They were sick of not winning the big one with James Franklin, and then they started to lose the little ones. The only thing he could do was win the little ones. He stopped doing that. When it comes to those 3 SEC programs, it was a continued this is a decent team. And the college football playoff era with 12 teams, you can be a decent team and make that playoff, but it's not good enough. When you're Florida, when you're Auburn, when you're LSU, you need to be at least contending for those. They're not contending at all.
Yeah, for once I agree with Terrence, and I will add on to that 12-team playoff. If you lose 1 or 2 games early in the season, you can still salvage your season and win out. So firing a coach early on, you can move in a new direction. Mm-hmm. Also, NIL is a huge part of it
UCLA,
because you have to think ahead. Mm-hmm. You can't, go to the last minute with some of these recruits. You have to figure out a game plan early on. That's why we're seeing a lot of coaches get fired early.
Yeah, I'm right with you, Casey. I think one of the main things is that transfer portal being shifted to January 2nd to 16th. Only one window now. So, athletic directors, programs trying to get ahead of that portal window, be able to get players and recruits in with new coaches and also NIL. I mean, boosters have more of a say than ever in the sport, so very interesting. So we talked about why that's happening. Casey, we'll start with you now. What do you think is the best available job, and how do you see it being filled?
I really like the Florida job. I mean, Billy Napier was just mediocre, had a losing record at Florida, and they have the resources now. Dan Mullen was their coach years ago. They weren't investing in football the way they are now. I really think this Florida job is really intriguing, and honestly, I think at the end of the day, they're going to have to find a guy who is younger, more sprightly than they've had. I think Napier was outdated. I don't know who that is, but the talent is there. The roster talent is completely there. It's the investment in the football that I need to see.
Yeah, I'm going to go LSU. I mean, there's only a certain amount of programs where in-state they are the only dominant force, where all the kids growing up, they want to go there. They need to play there, and that's LSU. That's LSU, that's Ohio State. I'll maybe throw Oregon in there. The talent isn't as nearly as good as it is in Louisiana, and I think that's a really major factor. All these kids want to grow up and play for LSU. You also look at the past coaches they've had who have won national titles. They're not necessarily phenomenal head coaches. You can get it done with just the talent alone. So that's why I like LSU here.
I think I'll propose 2 coaching changes for either of your spots. I like Eli Drinkwitz a lot for the Florida coaching job. I think Napier wasn't great behind the microphone. He didn't have that presence that Florida needed, and I think Drinkwitz can provide that. And I'm going with the home run hire for LSU. I think another Notre Dame coach comes over, Marcus Freeman goes to LSU. I think Lane Kiffin is likely.
He's tossed around with both these jobs.
What about Nick Saban?
I agree.
Okay.
Saban, Urban Meyer.
That's enough.
That's a different conversation. Either way, it's clear patience is thinning from athletic directors in college football, and it seems more coaching jobs might be upcoming on the horizon. Coming up on our horizon, though, the NBA is in full swing with the Lakers and Clippers beginning their seasons in quite different ways. And what does the Dodgers World Series mean for the future of the MLB? We discuss that next.
The Lakers and Clippers are navigating contrasting paths with both searching for consistency amid the new season. The Lakers are 6-2 and trying to stay afloat without a healthy LeBron James. He's been out all season, so the supporting cast must carry a heavier load. They host the Spurs tonight. The Clippers, on the other hand, are balancing on-court promise with off-court noise, with owner Steve Ballmer being sued for millions. Their veteran core is continuing to chase cohesion and credibility amid questions about their team's long-term direction. It's still looking early, but the Lakers still run LA.
Now that the MLB season has come to an end, we have to look forward to the elephant in the room. Will there be a 2027 season? With the collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners expiring after next season, nobody knows if professional baseball will be played in the next 2 years. The big issue right now is that the owners are pushing for a salary cap, looking to bail themselves out, with many small market teams not being able to compete due to larger markets buying all of the best players. On the other hand, the players oppose this, as it limits the amount that they can earn. I'm going to start with you, Nolan. Who do you think is in the right?
I mean, I think the teams are right in this case. Look at any other American sport. Look at the big leagues, or college for that matter, but obviously the big leagues is the one where traditionally you can be paid. What league doesn't have a salary cap? Every league has a salary cap because it promotes regulation. It makes a better product for everyone. Sure, you're going to have your bottom feeders and you're going to have your teams with good managers, good coaches, good owners that are able to spend their money more wisely, but you still have some sort of regulation. Yes, the players deserve their money, but they're making so much money anyway, even with the salary cap. I don't see why we wouldn't promote fair competition a little more.
It's a fair point. Nia, what about you?
I'm with the players. It's kind of just annoying to have them limit their compensation. So being able to really put the emphasis on them and what they're putting out on the field, they're putting out a good product and deserve to get paid as such. So I'm with the players. They have to continue the season.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nia. I think the players should be paid what they deserve. I think they're the stars. Who cares if the billionaire owners don't want to spend? As you mentioned, it's a fair point. Other leagues do have a salary cap. But the players are the star of the show. The owners shouldn't be bailed out just because they don't want to pay up. I mean, that's just my opinion. But no matter whose side you're on, we can all agree we all want baseball to be played. Well, that'll do it from This Week in Sports Scene. I'm Adam Ukazoglu.
I'm Nolan Ezet.
And I'm Nia Satterfield Brown. We'll see you next time.